Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. It is crazy how many comments I got on my video, my ex-husband had a boyfriend. So many opinions and stories and thoughts on the subject. I got so many comments all across the board, and I'm gonna unpack and respond to a bunch of them here with you today. Okay, this might come as a shock to some of you, but I actually don't have all the answers and I'm not perfect. I know! It's hard to believe. But that's why I'm sharing my story. If you can learn from my mistakes, then that's the whole point. Like, people either had a similar experience where they were thankful that I shared the story because they were thinking of also opening up their own relationship. But on the other side of that, I did get messages from people who are very pro-monogamy. I had a lot of, you're wrong, I'm right, which, I mean, I'm not telling anybody how to live their lives. Because like Madonna said,
I do not endorse a way of life, but describe one. And the audience is left to make its own decisions and judgments.
And I need to be super clear before I start. I am not throwing shade to anyone's comment that I'm sharing. These are all valid opinions and points of view. Some I agree with and some I don't. That's all. But before I start, this video is made possible by the generosity of my patrons. Patrons get advanced access to episodes, behind the scenes content, personalized videos, and so much more. That plus a lot more can be found at patrickmarano.com. Also, if you're liking this video, give me a thumbs up so YouTube will share it with more people and then we can all go to Six Flags. And let me know down in the comments, where do you stand on the whole open relationship thing? Is it something you are into? Is it something you're curious about? Or are you solely a one-person kind of person? Okay, back to the comments. Okay, so let's start here with this first comment. I'm going through the exact same thing right now. Guess it goes to show you how alike we all are. Thanks, with like 10 exclamation marks. This is one that I was not expecting, but so happy to receive. Like, I figured there would be other people out there that had open relationships and that would be responding kindly to the story or be able to relate. But to have somebody tell you that they're going through exactly the same thing that you just described, especially when I know how painful it was for me when I was going through it. Next up, we have a huge aha moment that I had. Listen to this. There is cheating even in an open relationship. Your husband cheated. What? What? Can you believe that did not even cross my mind? I knew that he hurt me. I knew that he crossed the boundaries of, what was acceptable for me in an open relationship scenario. I knew that he disrespected me by telling me that way also, by never confronting me, asking me, having a conversation about it. It was just, I have a boyfriend. You do? What? But I never put it together that actually he cheated on me. Okay, so when I read those ones, I was like, oh my God. And we are on a roll here because these next ones, let me tell you, super realization with this as well. So listen to this. Your ex-husband confused an open relationship with polyamory. I agree with you. Know what you can and can't accept and be true to yourself, loving your content. What? He confused, whether or not my ex-husband confused the two or he knew what he was doing and he was just pushing the limits and pushing what was acceptable for me, we'll never know because we're not in his head. You can't just bring somebody in and be like, well, there's 3 of us now, which maybe he was trying to do. I don't know. The fact that he kept it separate though and was like, oh, and I have a boyfriend. He didn't say, and we have a boyfriend. So it's like polyamorous adjacent, I guess. He was trying to have his cake and eat it too. But that was another aha for me because I was like, oh, you're right. Polyamory. I didn't even think about that because that was never in our discussion. It was just about being in an open relationship. Okay, now that we got some sort of positively charged comments out of the way, we're gonna switch gears here and go a little bit deeper. Ready? These next 2 are talking about marriage. Okay, so the first one says, a video of why it's not a good idea to have an open relationship. What if the partner falls in love with the other person? Yes. What if they aren't careful and don't use protection? Yes. Could possibly get AIDS from your husband. Facepalm. So yeah, let's talk about that for sure. And that's why my entire video was talking about setting boundaries and trust. And I actually do bring up the fact of when you're sleeping with other people, you're bringing things home and whatnot. So it's all about setting up the boundaries and the trust. So I did talk about that in the video. Let's read the rest of it. I don't think it's moralistic to have an open relationship. Why even get married if you prefer that kind of relationship? So at first I was like, okay, well, everybody is gonna have a different set of morals. Your morals are gonna be different than my morals. So of course, the end of that statement is saying, why even get married if you want that kind of relationship? What is a marriage? A marriage is two people coming together, financial security, tax breaks, all of these things. Also, obviously for love. You've decided in your mind, you have found your partner and you are in love with this person. But it's also for all of those other rights and privileges that come with marriage. It's not just about some fairy tale. And in fact, most of the people that I know who are in open relationships are married. Okay, let's read another one on marriage. So why do gay couples get married and say their vows that are mostly the same as a heterosexual marriage vows, but then have an open relationship? My vows had nothing to do with being faithful in a sexual way at all. Let's keep reading. A gay person will have a fit if their partner was sleeping with somebody else behind their back, but it's okay when the relationship is open. Yeah, that's the point. If you don't open your relationship and it's monogamous and somebody is sleeping with somebody else, of course you're gonna have a fit because they're cheating on you. Like they're lying and sneaking around behind your back. The point of opening the relationship is so that you're both on the same page and everything can be out in the open and there's honesty and discussion about it. I guess also my point is like, why does marriage equal monogamy? And who said that? Was it the Bible? Is it religion? Is it institutions? Like each relationship is unique. Also, can two people be in an open relationship and want the added security of, the marriage? Can we discuss about hospital visits? I mean, if you're not married and something happens to your partner, you're not family. So when you go to the hospital, you're not family. This is important stuff that has nothing to do with sex. Okay, let's move on to the next comment. You started the video saying that monogamy doesn't work, and then made a video about how an open relationship doesn't work. Shrug. Okay, so I actually went back and watched the video because it had been a long time since I made it. And when I watched it back to make sure, I actually start the video saying that if monogamy works for you, then kudos. Like, those are my actual words. The video is telling you about my failed experience with an open relationship, and not that open relationships don't work, ever. Okay, then it says, I think what you meant to say is that monogamy doesn't work for you. Yeah, that's actually exactly what I said. Then it says, that's cool, but don't imply or insinuate that monogamy is somehow inferior. I never once said anything about monogamy being a lesser choice than an open relationship. I would never do that. My whole platform, my whole channel is based on non-judgment of anything and about acceptance. Okay, this next comment I could not disagree with anymore. Let's have a read. I've thought about the situation and the conclusion I've reached is that the only thing that separates your best friend from your partner is that act of sex, because it's a different kind of intimacy. I could not disagree more with that sentence. Like, for instance, I'm gonna throw something out there. Impotence. So somebody who's impotent can't be in a romantic relationship? What about kissing, cuddling, spooning, sharing your deepest secrets, desires, supporting each other? So it goes on to say, in most cases, with the exclusivity of the intimacy is lost, it loses its value, and there's no longer something only between you and your partner. What about love? What about love? For instance, you and your mother. There's a love there. Well, unless you hate each other. Unless you grew up with a hateful mother and you guys hate each other and you are estranged. Okay, but anyway, think of somebody in your family that you love. Isn't that a special kind of love that nobody else has and that nobody else can replace and has zero to do with sex, hopefully? I hope you're not having sex with your family members. Okay, if you are, then choose somebody else who is close to you, who you have oh my God. It's a special kind of relationship that we have that nobody else can come in and replace. That's the same with a partner. is not based on sex. Of course, at the beginning it is. That's what it's all about. It's that attraction. It's chemistry. It's biology. Don't worry about it. It's what happens. It doesn't mean that person means less to you. It means your relationship needs to evolve and change, and we're gonna grow into something different, and that's okay. Oh, that's right. So it ends on a nice note because it says, I don't judge and I think everyone should do what works for them, but I don't think it would work for me. That's totally fair. Of course, love is blind and we often excuse or overlook the failings of those who we are in love with at the same time. Happiness is the best revenge. Yes, amen. Yes, for sure. When you're in the relationship, it's so hard to navigate because you're too close to it. And that's why friends and family are so important. And that's why we go to them and we talk to them. We don't always listen to them because we think we know what's best for us all the time, but oftentimes they're not far off the mark, and you should be listening to friends and family at least a little bit. Listen to what they have to say because they're not in the situation, they're removed from it so they can see more clearly. Happiness is the best revenge. Absolutely. Okay, let's read another comment. I always find it interesting that all the energy and effort taken to put together an open relationship rather than to preserve and intensify the monogamous relationship. All relationships are work, period. So open, monogamous, polyamorous, whatever. All work. All work. Let's keep reading. I think at the end of the day, it's nothing more than you have a desire to have sex with multiple people, and that is just greed and cheating. So the first part of that sentence, yeah, it is a desire to have sex with more than one person. That's the point. And when you're talking about greed and cheating, the cheating is when you're monogamous and somebody is going around behind your back and they're lying and sneaking around. That's cheating. If you're in an open relationship and you're sleeping with other people, that's the point. And also, is it greedy to be honest? Maybe more people need to speak up and say what they need instead of just going without and just doing what they're told. I'd rather be greedy than be somebody who is repressing my needs and wants and desires. Because we got one life, and I'm gonna leave here a happy man, fully satisfied. Okay, let's read this last comment because it was very interesting. It says, yes, your video did make me feel better. Aw, that's good. No, but wait for it. For decades, I've been suffocating in isolation and despair, trying to justify a life devoid of intimate male companionship. Now, I have a tiny glimmer of appreciation for my miserable but relatively safe solitude. Oh my God, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry when I read this. I mean, thank you so much for being so honest. I didn't make the video to warn people off of open relationships. I mean, it's a cautionary tale, to be sure. The message of the video isn't be single and you'll be happy. Oh wait, there's one more. I have had a long-term marriage in which my wife and I are both open to other scenarios and people. I was honest with her from the start. I was incapable of and uninterested in sexual monogamous relationship. Emotional monogamy was never in question. Wow, this is good stuff. I can say from my own experience that an open one can stand the test of time and be fulfilling and exciting and actually strengthen your primary relationship. Thank you so much for sharing that story and the fact that you yourself are a success story, a long-term open relationship success story. It sounds like you really have your perspective down. So you see, it can work. But that's the thing. It won't work and it doesn't work if it's not the thing you're looking for. And that's cool. The most important thing to remember is that every relationship is unique and to never, ever, ever, ever judge someone else's situation. You do not know their experiences or expectations. And frankly, it's none of your business. Of course, unless they post it to YouTube and they call it, my ex-husband had a boyfriend. Then it's pretty much making it all of our business. That is it for this video, folks. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. And I will see you in the next video. Mwah!